After our 1-0 win against Man City, making it Arteta's first win over Man City in the Premier League in his managerial career, it's also our first time beating Man City in 8 years in the Emirates Stadium. Now this win made me a little reactionary, if I must admit, but regardless, it got me thinking. Are we, as in Arsenal, are Arsenal genuine title challengers? Like, is there a world where we realistically just may be able to get our hands on the Premier League for the first time in 20 some years? Or did we just get a good result against a team that will inevitably win the Premier League? Well, that's exactly what we will be discussing today. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Now, I did already kinda make a video like this where I discussed how we can do it, but it was more dreamy and not so realistic. So I thought, being that we are still undefeated in the Premier League after 8 games with only 2 draws, and we are second on goals scored to Tottenham, I thought, let me take a look at this topic with my realist cap on. Take off my fans cap, don't think with my heart, but look at this with my brain. So, can we do it? Can we win the Premier League? Well, as you would expect, it's a far more complicated answer than just a yes or no. The first thing to talk about is how far we get in all the other competitions and how much we place importance on winning games in those other competitions. Look, if let's say we get all the way to the semis in the Champions League, get to the final in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, plus all 38 games in the Prem, you're looking at least 60-ish games. Not to mention a lot of our players going out to play international games to qualify for the Euros that will happen at the end of the season. It's a jam-packed season. Let's just get that straight, from start to finish. And as we know, to win the Premier League, you have to be on it, essentially for all 38 games. It is going to be a huge task, and that's why I think it heavily depends on just how far we get in all competitions. Not to mention how much Arteta rotates for those other competitions. Now, of course, we could not get far in any other competition and still stutter and struggle in the Premier League, a little bit like last season. But you would hope that that pain and that anguish that absolute flop brought last season aids and helps the team to avoid that same mistake. You'd hope anyway. This, of course, goes hand in hand with the potential fixture congestion that we may face. Like I said, it'll be a really tall task, and we would have to use the full squad if we are playing, let's say, 2 games a week, right? Of course, we've done it before with Europa, but if we have Champions League knockout games on a Tuesday, big Premier League games on the Saturday, then FA Cup games the next Tuesday, and so on, I'm not saying we can't do it, because we kind of been doing it already this season and only lost 1 game in all competitions. But if we are having to constantly do it throughout the season, it will most certainly be difficult. I mean, we saw Saka dwindle away towards the end of last season because of pure exhaustion. If we are to go far and still compete in the Premier League, Arteta has to get better at rotating the squad, resting players, and still going out and winning games with the quote-unquote weaker players. The next thing to talk about is other teams. Right now, it's us and Spurs on top of the table. Spurs are only on top by goals scored, so yes, they're first, but realistically, we're both first right now. City are only 2 points off us despite losing their last 2 games in the Premier League. There's teams like Liverpool and Newcastle who have been extremely impressive at times and could theoretically mount a title charge if the chips stack up for them. If they will mount a title charge, it's a whole nother discussion. As much as fans and managers like to act like, we only care about our team and our results, I think it goes without saying that for us to win the league, we will need other teams to slip up. It's just that simple. I have no doubt that if we do win the Premier League, that City will be pushing us to the end, and even potentially, like I said, Spurs, Liverpool, and or Newcastle. Another topic is the one we all hate but plays a huge role in football, unfortunately, and that is injuries. Now, it goes without saying that I can't predict any injuries. No one can. But so far this season, we have suffered our fair share, whether it's Saka being out for a handful of games, Timber being out injured for the whole season, or just players like Martinelli being out for 4 to 5 games. But you would think that, touch wood anyway, we don't suffer any huge injuries, then we should have a strong enough and deep enough squad to at least go far, I'd say, in 2 competitions. We definitely don't have a treble winning level of depth and squad quality like, let's say, City did. But the quality and the strength of quality isn't bad at Arsenal. Another topic is transfers. Whether it's incomings or outgoings, if a player, say Ramsdale, gets upset with his role as a second choice keeper and demands to leave, that could obviously shake up the squad and the team chemistry quite a bit. Last January, we saw Trossard come to Arsenal and he had a more than positive impact on the team. So, if we bring maybe 1 or 2 players in January, that could also boost us, but at the same time, if we have to sell 1 or 2 players in January, that maybe like a Smith Rowe or something, that could hurt us. But yeah, obviously I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know what the future holds. But as things stand, I might regret saying this, but I genuinely see a way that we can win the Premier League. Teams are faulting around us. We are winning big games. After 11 or so games in all competitions this season, we've only lost once, despite not being at our best for, let's be honest, most of the season. We also haven't played any Premier League games with our best midfield together, that midfield obviously being Partey, Odegaard and Rice. And we haven't played any Premier League games with our best attacking front 3 of Jesus, Saka and Martinelli all together. So while yes, I think we can do it, if I'm being honest, don't hate on me if we do. Don't come back here and say you're not a believer. I don't think we will. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to, give you guys the impression that I'm not fully behind this team and this manager, because trust me, I love Arteta, I love Arsenal, I love this team. But I just rather want to play it safe and not get my hopes up like last season and suffer that heartbreak. So while I think we can do it, if I think we will, I don't think so. I think City's still such a strong team. Like I said, they're only 2 points behind us, despite, let's be honest, they've been shit at the beginning of the season. And they're only just 2 points behind us. We have Champions League football, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I'm not saying we won't, but I'm just thinking, as of right now, I don't think we will. I would love to be proven wrong. Trust me, I'd love to be proven wrong. And I'm not like a negative Arsenal fan. Don't take it like that at all. I'm just trying to be really realistic, like I said. Very realistic. I just don't see how we do it. We can do it. I don't think we will though. But with all this being said, I would love to know what you guys think will happen and if you think we will win the Premier League. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next one.